My name is Raheel Khalid. I'm the CTO and Chief Engineer at Verizon Labs, and I work on the environment platform at Verizon. So at Verizon Labs, what we specifically work on is AR and VR streaming. And when we do this, we try to make it as cross-platform as possible so it hits as many eyeballs as humanly reachable. It's not just about getting your experience in front of 10 eyeballs or 100,000 eyeballs. It's about hundreds of millions of eyeballs. And that's where Verizon kind of excels. So in the last year, we've seen VR and AR kind of explode. We've gone out from simple deployments, which have been retail-based. We've been making try-before-you-buy sorts of activated retail experiences. We've partnered with print magazines, and we've made magazine covers come to life. We've even had rich VR experiences where you can actually go and immerse yourself with characters and interact with them. And this has all happened along with the rise of this AR and VR technology. We've seen the Oculus, the Vive, PlayStation VR, they're all starting to peak right about now. And we've started to create brand new types of units. These are brand new media formats and ad units. And to really understand where we're going to go in terms of media and streaming, we kind of have to look at where we started. So 40,000 years ago, technology and media looked something like this. There were handprints on a cave wall. And as technology developed and we moved from carvings, sculptures, pottery, simple paintings to brand new types of paintings in the Renaissance, dozens of different isms and brand new types of styles, we eventually started with the advent of the photo camera, and we had to reimagine each time what technology had to be and what type of media and stories we had to tell to really immerse people. Finally, later in the 1800s, we had the moving picture, cinematography, and film. And again, every single time we had to adapt what storytelling was and how we distribute this type of technology. That kind of brought us over to this. This is something that was shot by Eisenberg. This was propaganda in 1925. What's really notable about this is Battleship Potemkin, the Odessa Steppes. This is the first time in cinematography that a story was told using film. We had moving cameras, we had camera cuts, different angles, and dramatic editing so that you could really tell a story and influence people and really immerse in a brand new way. As this moved forward, we realized that every time we change media, and AR is doing this now, we have to relearn how to tell that story. And we have to relearn how we're going to distribute it. And it also requires the creator to kind of think about what they're doing and create in brand new ways. When the film camera first came out, we shot still images and we shot plays. That was fine, but it wasn't the full potential. We required directors and cinematography and brand new art styles. So that kind of brings us to this. This is volumetric or holographic video. This is the next generation of video and the next generation of media formats that we're looking to support. Some of you might have seen this. This is technology from 8i. There's a number of companies that are working on this at a highly accelerated pace. This gentleman is walking around in an HTC Vive, but he's actually able to walk through a video. Things that are captured in full 3D, not just stereoscopic 3D, but true 3D meshes. Here's a couple other demos. Here's one that was just shown off at CES by Intel from Hype VR, where they used a inside-out camera rig. And it can be done in two ways, either like this with a single camera, which has many different lenses, which is then stitched together, or inside of a room with dozens of cameras which look outside in, and then using stereo disparity or special sensors like time of flight or radar, we add depth and information to the flat pixels and create point clouds. Those point clouds then become processed, and using a lot of computer vision, we turn them into solids. These volumetric solids are very, very heavy. The scene in Vietnam that Intel showed off was 30 gigabytes of frame, which is a lot. You don't imagine yourself streaming that. This is a demo that my team did. This is a 3D rendered scene. It's very cartoony. It was handmade, obviously, but it's using the same type of concept. We use a series of cameras inside of a 3D game engine. We capture everything in there. We establish points, add depth data, stream, compress, and then ship it. Nothing on this scene is locally stored on the device. It's all 100% streamed. It's streamed and constructed on the fly in a handset. And what's really notable here is the technology that is used to create this experience is the same that's used to create this experience. But we're just not there yet with the amount of compute that we need to have on the fly or the amount of bandwidth or compute. And that really brings us to the main lynch point of streaming media, where we say that augmented reality and virtual reality is almost there. We can capture things and we can process it almost on the fly. It takes a lot of processing, tons of servers, tremendous amount of bandwidth and storage capabilities, but ultimately, there are bottlenecks that we have to work through. One of those key bottlenecks is the creative influence. I think up to this point, we haven't really seen a breakout 360 video. There's been a lot of very interesting content, but we haven't really learned to master that technology yet. At the same regard, we now have volumetric video and holographic video. And we have to relearn how we're going to be capturing brand new scenes and telling stories inside of this medium. So that kind of brings us to our main question. Once we achieve accessible volumetric VR and AR, are we going to go back? We're only a few years away from completely changing and disrupting what cinema, film, TV actually looks like. The technology is changing incredibly quickly. And the quality that we're going to be able to put forward is completely different. The technology that I showed you from my team was rendering volumetric, but it was rendering it as an end process inside of a game engine. That means after we've captured all of this depth data, we can then add physics, we can add artificial intelligence, we can change the way things are rendered and the experiences that are there. You're not just inside of a TV show. You might not be an action hero inside of a Hollywood blockbuster. You could go back and you could visit historical time periods that have been captured. And then because it's not inside of a game engine and we have all of that data, we can manipulate and we can change it. And it's not that far away. But the question is, what do creators have to do to actually make those changes? And what kind of tools do we have to create to actually push the medium forward? We've been living in a world that's very, very flat. And watching a baseball game is amazing. But I also want to be able to project that baseball game onto my coffee table, pause it, and then retry to catch that pop fly myself. And we're almost there. In about 10 years, I predict we'll actually be there. We can do all these things live and on the fly. And that's kind of what my team builds. We build an entire platform and infrastructure inside of Verizon built to take these types of experiences, create brand new tool sets, and then stream them. Right now, they're simple executions, but we're really looking to see what creators can do, what new businesses can do to push the medium forward so that the world's a little bit less flat. Thanks.